Welcome to the Throwdown.
We're here again.
Folks, it's been a minute. Been a minute since we threw down.
It's time. It's time to do it. It's been a minute. So since it's been a while since we've done this, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Throwdown, where we put two things into a fictional arena, and we must then decide which of those two things will come out alive. Things in the past have included numerous comic book characters, our 50-year-old self versus our 25-year-old self, anything in between. Tonight's a very special one because John is here, the king of snacks, the DadBodSnacks. So, Justin, how about you hit that drum roll and let's see who we got for this week. This week's Throwdown is the Keebler Elves versus Snap, Crackle, and Pop. We've got an Elven Throwdown. Snack mascots. And
Let's bring it back to the D&D.
It's to the death. Now, here's what I'll say. Right out the gate, I wasn't sure how many Keebler Elves there were. And at the start of the show, I looked how many there were. There are a lot of Keebler Elves. There are many. There are J.J. Keebler, Ernest J. Ernie Keebler, Friar Tuck, Zoot, J.J., Ernie's mother, Ma Keebler, Elmer Keebler, Buckets, Fast Eddie, Sam, Roger, Doc, Zach, Flo, Leonardo, Elwood, Jesus. Professor, Edison, Larry, and Art. That's 20. That's 20 elves, y'all.
Was one of those, did you say Fast Eddie?
Yes, Fast Eddie.
I mean, that just that's the grifter of the bunch, right? Obviously.
When Buckets is obviously the poor bastard that, I don't know, got dropped on his head or something at one point. You're like, oh shit, here comes Buckets. He's like, he busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid guy. He's like, hey, you guys.
Fudge.
He's the sloth of the family.
Did you say one of them was Flo?
Yes.
That's the progressive one.
Fuck you, Justin. You bastard. And of course, you got Leonardo, you know. He's the hipster of the group.
He's the hipster of the group.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. He's a painter. Yeah.
Yeah. Professor. He's actually a carpenter. It's weird, you know.
Where did you find? I'm looking for. Here it is. Elmer, Buckets, Doc. That's like the dwarves.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone's got a Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Friar
Tuck. That's an interesting one.
I feel like there's three that we always see in the commercials. There's the main one. I think that's Eddie, right?
Ernie.
Thank you, Ernie. And then there's like a tall one and a squat one, I think.
They kind of look like
one's
Snap,
probably
Crackle,
Friar
and
Tuck.
I love how Jared's like, what the fuck is a Keebler Elf? Yeah, don't worry.
Just Google it. You got it.
Elmer is the apprentice to Ernie. Buckets is the muscle. All right. The nickname came courtesy of the extra dollop of fudge Buckets will add to cookies. Oh, okay.
Nice.
You've got Fast Eddie. He bakes really fast. And you've got Roger. He's the tallest elf inside the hollow tree. That's all he's known for, huh? Okay. And then you got Ma. It's the matriarch. And then the artist is Leonardo. And then the eldest is Doc. And Sam. Yeah, okay. So we got it. There's a lot of
let's I don't know. I guess we pick like three, right? Here we go. So I feel like Fast Eddie, Elmer,
and Buckets.
Okay. Which one is Buckets here?
He's the muscle.
Is Buckets? Oh no, I went to one of those shitty sites.
Well, Ernie's got to be one of the three. Ernie's like your main face. He's the head honcho.
Yes. Yeah. So Ernie, why is it doing
Ernie,
this?
Buckets, and Fast Eddie.
I feel like Ernie, Buckets, and Fast Eddie are got to be the way we go, right?
Jared goes, I just Googled it. I'm more confused.
Jared, as Americans, it's not enough for us just to eat a lot of shitty food. We also have to have mascots to entertain us while we do it.
We have to have a story behind it. Like magical elves are baking these beautiful, delicious, unhealthy treats out of a tree. And it's like, the Keebler Elves are here to give you diabetes. You're welcome.
Right, so,
it's true, though.
All right, Ernie, Fast Eddie, and Buckets. Those are the three that we're doing up against Snap, Crackle, and Pop. So let's do this. What do we got? What do we think?
Well, what do we know about Snap, Crackle, and Pop? John, you're an expert. Tell us about them.
I mean, they are the faces of Rice Krispie treats, Kellogg's Rice Krispie treats, right? Or the Rice Krispies, to be specific, right?
Yeah.
Is from the Krispies that you make said treats. But there was a treat cereal, too, in their defense.
That's true.
Either way, I think they're all related. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, but I want to say they may be like brothers of some kind, right? It doesn't really, I don't think there's any folklore behind it. You can try and research it, Google it if you want, but I get brotherly vibes from that, right? Which, if that is the case, it would make them a formidable force, being three brothers, or at least three best friends that grew up together, right? Compared to Fast Eddie, Ernie, and Buckets, you said?
Yes.
Yes. You just seem like colleagues.
Well, aren't the Keebler Elves related?
Well, Ma suggests that they are.
Or is it just like, this is just the family business, but, they've hired other elves, like Buckets, to come in and be the muscle when putting extra dough. Yeah.
It's a Smurf scenario, right? Where there's one female and it's a bunch of guys, yet they're not all related, but some of them are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think this is a great way to putting it, because Snap, Crackle, and Pop, I do get the idea that they are brothers. They are definitely...
Well, I'll say this. There is corporate promotional material describes their relationship as resembling that of brothers.
They describe it as purely
pure chaos.
Pure chaos. It's purely platonic. There's no funny business going on. We can't stress this enough. They're just friends. Just friends that live together and have a business together. Purely platonic. We swear.
I would say, in my mind, Snap, Crackle, Pop are brothers, and Keebler Elves, and we may be wrong on this, but to me, the Keebler Elves seem to be colleagues. They all work in the same workshop making cookies together. That's how I've always viewed them, I think.
Yeah. They're like the mafia of the elven world. It's like that pizza place that, is, got pretty good food, but also you got weird guys coming in and out. They're claiming that they work there, but, you never see them make any pizza, but...
No pizza maker wears a 3-piece suit.
No, their hands are covered in marinara sauce, but
right.
You don't see them making any pizzas or calzones. So
it's weird, but I believe them.
And oddly enough, at every place, there's always a Fast Eddie. So,
right? Always, and always a guy that's like Buckets. The muscle.
Yes. So I would agree with you, John, in that if they're brothers, they probably have. While they do come off much younger than the Keebler Elves, they have a youthfulness to them. I do think that them being brothers maybe they've spent more time together. They've probably been through some shit together. They know how each other operate. There's a kinship there, an unspoken bond. I feel like that gives them a definite leg up in my mind.
Obviously, they share some form of telepathy.
Naturally, they're elves.
They're
serial elves.
They're elves.
Now, I don't think the Snap, Crackle, or Pop have any sort of magical powers, but there was some sort of pseudo-elven magic that I think the Keebler Elves may possess. Right, which will help offset the physicality that the brothers may present. Right, they may have some magic here, right? So
but they use magic to bring. It's to bring like the food to life. Is that what it is?
Or is it to the aid in the assembly of the food?
I want to say both. I'm not 100% sure what is the extent of their magic. I do not know. But I think the Keebler Elves are slightly magical in some fashion.
Magic's a tough one to go up against, even with the brotherly bond, If we put Dr. Strange up against Mark Wahlberg from Four Brothers, I would definitely give it to Dr. Strange.
I love it. Let's see here. I'm looking at all these great questions on Google. What do the Keebler Elves do?
What do they even do, bro?
Our uniquely American strain of elves whose sole purpose in life is to bake uncommonly good Keebler cookies, crackers, and and cones in their magic ovens. No one knows exactly how long the elves have been going about their baking.
Well, I'll say this too. If the Keebler Elves have been doing this for that long and they've been stuck in this tree, you don't really see them out and about. Snap, Crackle, Pop seem like they get into a lot of trouble. They've been around. They've got some street smarts that feel like to them. They're always jumping on spoons, making cereal flip all over the place, you know? So I feel like they're used to handling trouble and getting out of sticky situations.
Right.
So if for my money, even if the elves, the Keebler Elves have a little bit of magicalness to them, I do feel like tree life has made them soft and all they know is the workshop. And, I feel like the brotherly bond that the Snap, Crackle, Pop have, along with the fact that I feel like they're street tested, to me, that gives the edge to Snap, Crackle, Pop.
But who is older? Are the elves from Keebler, are they older? I know Kellogg's has been around a long time, but I don't know if Snap, Crackle, Pop are older than the Keebler elves. Because if the elves are older, then they've got wisdom.
They're definitely depicted as older.
That's a giant leap, John. Just assume that because they're older, they have wisdom. I know plenty of people in my life, if they live for a long time, they'd be as dumb as they are right now, even if they just lived longer. So I'm gonna stop you there. Age doesn't necessarily convert over to wisdom. So that's all I'm gonna say. Now, you're a bunch of shut-ins who just use magic ovens to bake fucking cookies. How wise are you gonna be? You know,
if Snap, Crackle, Pop lay siege to the tree, I do think that the Keebler Elves would probably have a much easier time defending that tree because they know that environment. But if the Keebler Elves, are just stretching their legs, they're walking around the trunk of the tree, they're on break. Maybe they're, sitting and discussing life and their, 401k packages underneath a sunflower that's growing near the tree. And Snap, Crackle, Pop just come by and it's a rumble out in the middle of the field. I think, to me, there's no contest. It's Snap, Crackle, Pop all day.
I agree. In a neutral environment, Snap, Crackle, and Pop win because Keebler Elves are shut-ins. They only live in their tree. They don't know anything out of their normal lives. So you put them out of their environment, they're flummoxed. They don't know they can't make heads or tails of anything. Snap, Crackle, and Pop, they're brothers. They're ready to go. They throw down, and they do it. They break necks. They break legs. They're brutal. They do the double fish hook. They're ripping off people's cheeks. They're just ripping right through them. And it is brutality, unbeknownst to any elves, and is frowned upon by other elven species to what Snap, Crackle, and Pop will do to these Keebler Elves.
So I feel like what happens is that Ernie is the last one that they take out. And as Ernie has watched his elven brethren die by the hands of these three rapscallions, they walk up to him, and the first one comes up, grabs his arm, and he goes, Snap. The next one walks up, grabs his hand, and just crushes it and goes, Crackle. And the third one comes up and grabs his head, stares him right in the eyes, slowly squeezes it until the fudge just starts dripping out of his eyes. And right before it happens, he goes, Pop. And that's it.
Man, these are like Stephen King creatures, what you just described. It's a weird mix between like Stephen King horror and also mafia. We're going to make him watch. Right. I mentioned they also got Boston accents, as they're just like beating the shit out of him. And like, no, hold that fucking guy down because we're going to make him watch. You're going to go last. You're going to watch these guys. Going to break him up.
Ernie. Sit down and watch.
Yeah.
Watch what happens when you fucking leave your tree.
Yeah, you ready for some Snap, Crackle, and Pop, you son of a bitch? And they're just like...
Grab the spoon.
Shove it up his ass. I don't know.
So I think we're saying Snap, Crackle, Pop for the win!
Oh, that was fun.